hope this is fine. Hey, good morning. It's morning where I am. Not sure if it's either evening or night for you, but it's good morning for me. It's morning for me. So, hey there. We're gonna talk about a new topic, and this is my second video. Last video we talked about, or not talked about much, but we talked about the phrase Roman deines Lebens. That was the title of the last video, and you can go check it out for yourself and watch it. Today's video is going to be about, or not about, but it's going to be called Die Geschwindigkeit, and it's all about the speed or the velocity at which we learn, and the importance of that, and how it is so important that we can adapt quickly to a new environment, or how we sometimes can find the challenge of not adapting fast enough, and how this all comes into play, and how you can, struggle a little bit. And we're going to talk at the end about something that is a little bit related to this, but not as much, which is about not comparing yourself to others and when you're in a new place, and not thinking about how others are doing so well in such little time while you're taking more time and you might not be doing as well as they are. I'm filming with a new camera, or not a new camera. It's not camera at all. It's actually just my phone. So last time was a different device. This time we're trying something new, and I hope it goes well. I intend to make some new, or I intend to leave timestamps in the video just to divide the sections, and I also want to make sure that I'm recording properly and that it doesn't look bad and I don't go a full 12 or however many minutes this video is going to be for without checking how I look, or because I can't see how I look. Like, we solved the problem of last time of me looking straight down or at myself. Now I don't have that option anymore because I'm literally looking at the camera right now, so that's better, I guess. Yeah, sorry. So this video is going to be divided into sections. I'm not sure what every single section is going to be called, but just as a heads up, there's going to be about 4, maybe even 5, but I think it's going to be 4. First one is going to be explaining the word, die Geschwindigkeit, or the term. Second one is going to be talking about how it's important for us to learn rapidly. Third of all is that how we adapt to a new situation or environment, how quickly we do that. That's important as well. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how we need to stop comparing, or not stop, probably stop comparing ourselves to others when we see them successful in what they do, and how we're not as successful if we don't find success when we just hit the ground and we don't hit the ground running. So yeah, I'm gonna pause right now just so that I don't keep my don't put all my eggs in one basket, as they say. What I mean is that the eggs being all the time this video is gonna be recorded for, and the basket is just one take. So I'm gonna at least make sure that the video looks okay before continuing. So yeah, just give me a second. Okay, and we're back. Hey there again. Sorry if the video quality goes down a little bit from the last part, because I had to just cut back on space a little bit. I mean, last video you could barely even hear me, so this is the least worries at this point. Anyway, yeah, so let's dive right in. Let's talk about the first thing we want to talk about. So the word die Geschwindigkeit auf Deutsch bedeutet the speed auf Englisch. Und natürlich wird das Wort benutzt in the context of about cars, racing, speed, or just not really the context of maybe how we learn and a learning environment and students who are struggling to catch up and that kind of stuff. But I think it's a pretty cool word to use for the second second video of this channel, because I think that this word motivates us to become better at facing our challenges and not running away from them, especially when you're in a new country. Like, if you finally take the decision to go and you have everything ready and you are so confident in yourself that you can finally leave home, leave your parents, and leave the rest of your family to go to a new country, not an easy decision. And certainly you can go there head on and think it's a good idea to just take on the challenge by yourself. But sometimes we can get homesick, and we can face too many things at once and try to carry too much on our shoulders, and we end up falling behind in our lessons and our education due to the fact that we just didn't have everything in mind when we first set this up. So that's what die Geschwindigkeit or as I refer to it as that, would be pointing at that. But that's what we're talking about today, right? So the importance of learning quickly. So I'm gonna stop here, and I'm gonna just like continue again in a few seconds, just so that we can divide them, and you can have timestamps so you can go to the part of the video which you want. Okay, and we're back again. Next thing we're gonna talk about quickly is I'm gonna try not to take too much of your time, because those last two clips took up 5 minutes total, and that's probably about half the video. The next topic is about how to adapt quickly to a new environment. So first of all, this carries off of the last point, carries onwards with it, or carries stuff from the last part, sorry. We're gonna talk about like the living conditions, and whether you're gonna have a roommate with you, and whether you're gonna have some sort of blocked bank account. But most of these things we're gonna talk about in a later video, because it's a lot of it's a whole video on its own. I'm only gonna talk about it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So obviously the main points about this part of learning and adapting and how to live properly by yourself. The first part is not living by yourself and actually having family there in the country that you're going to. That's gonna help a lot. Certainly you won't feel as alone as you would be if you were there in your own in a different country abroad by yourself as a student, because then you would have to start making friends quickly so that you can spend your dinners or your celebrations or whatever you have going on with people who you know and people who you actually enjoy being in company with. So it's a little bit difficult, or it's really difficult if you don't have family there. That's one thing. Second of all is making sure you choose a location to stay in which is not too crowded, sorry, not too crowded and noisy, not too difficult to get your food from, or there's not so far away from a supermarket to the point where you have to go like 10 minutes walking or with a car just to find the nearest local supermarket for whether it's vegetables or essentials, whatever. That's a problem as well for some people here in Egypt. Certainly could be a problem over there. So yeah, don't choose a place which is too noisy and crowded, because you need the peace to study, and you need the peace of mind to also be able to relax. Second of all, don't choose a place where you don't know where to get your essentials from. So you want to have a supermarket nearby. Optimally, you would be able to go to that country before you apply, or at least have someone choose the location for you if the location is handpicked, and you think, or the person who picks it out for you thinks about what you need and what you're gonna be doing there. It's a lot better. Some organizations which help students travel abroad already do that, where they choose a place for you to stay and continue with you until you're finally settled in. So yeah, those are two quick things, and it's important that you do like adapt quickly, because it can be a real setback when you're like experiencing homesickness, and not only that, but you don't know where to get your main things which you need for everyday life, like food, clothes, if you need like to buy some new stuff, and let's say maybe you also need to find transportation, like for example if the bus or the metro or the subway is way too far from your house and you don't have a car yet in a new country. Of course that's going to be a problem too. It's going to cause a real setback in your learning, because other people might have already been living there, or they might have like experienced how to get through all that stuff, and you're about to start learning how to do all that stuff while they're already like learning classes with you. They're sitting next to you, yet they have a much better base or foundation in this. So that's going to be a second point. What is going to be the third point? So we talked about learning, the importance of learning quickly, and we talked about the importance of adapting quickly. The third point was going to be about I'm pretty sure it was about sorry about that. It was going to be about not comparing ourselves to others. Or if you would count me defining the word die Geschwindigkeit as a point, this would be the fourth point. Yeah, but it's kind of still the third point. Anyway, comparing yourself to others is very difficult. And well, last time I didn't have a script, but this time I wrote a few things down. Well, not on a real paper, just the back and front of what seems to be a sticky note, but it's not. It's just a small paper, I guess. Just a 5 by 5 centimeter square paper. Comparing yourself to others is really harmful at an early stage of learning. and at a later stage in life where you're always jealous, or not jealous, but you sort of have an envy towards people. And the word jealous and envy aren't exactly the same, where you can be happy for someone, but you still have a little bit of envy. And sometimes it can be so strong when you're always being compared to others around you, that the second you see them struggle with something, or even if you hear about them, for example, failing at what they're doing, you get something which is a German term called Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude comes from the two words Schade und Freude. So Schade means disaster or a bad thing. Freude means happiness. Schadenfreude. Here it goes. Last video, it's coming back. Back at it again. Schadenfreude is not a good thing to have, especially when they're your classmates and they may even be your friends. This comes from a place of unease and insecurity and low self-esteem when it comes to education and your own ability at learning, academic ability, when you feel like everyone is better than you. And I myself have not struggled with this exactly, but I've struggled with always being compared to people who are close to me. People who say, why aren't you like this? Or how come they're better than you? You have the same, you're sitting next to them, or you might be sitting in the same class as them, or maybe they're in a different class than you, but you two are so similar, or they may even be in a different year group than you, but they're comparing you to them, and they're asking you, how come you're not as good at math? Or how come you're not doing as well as the other person, whoever that is? And it can be really difficult. It can be really difficult to deal with something like that, because you start feeling insecure, you're doubting yourself, you're not sure if you can even make it as well as the other person has in life. And it all comes down to whether or not you can acknowledge your weaknesses, acknowledge your shortcomings and believe in yourself. As cliche as that sounds, but it does take time to finally believe in your abilities to excel and do well and persevere, really. It's all about psychological perseverance in that case. And there's also something else I want to talk about, and it has to do with this paper here. So but before I read from it, which I'm not think I'm gonna read from it, but I'm gonna talk about it before you can read the words on it. It's more about a video which I saw a few days ago. I came across it, and it was about it was a video in English, and it was a speech given by a man who was talking about a mother's love and her care. And I know this sounds like it's completely unrelated from what I'm talking about, but it also has to do with being separated from your family and your parents, especially, where once you go away from your home country and your home, which is your home, like your house, where your apartment or wherever you live, in the place where you've always grown up, it becomes difficult because you start finding new people and you start having to rely on others who aren't your family and may not wish you the best at all times. And so this man, I'm gonna link his video, or the video to his speech or talk which he gave to young children about a few things which are, or I'm gonna quote a few things which he said in the video. One of them is that he said, "Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are." And I want to talk about how it's a trap once you go to a new country, about where the trap is really about falling into the wrong group of people, or making friends which aren't good for you, or making friends which don't wish you the best, or making friends which will lead you down a path which is not good. Let's say it's about partying all the time, or whatever else people do in foreign countries which we aren't allowed to do in our countries. I'm sure you have an idea about what I'm talking about. But obviously I don't need to tell you not to go into nightclubs, or not to do stuff like drug abuse or stuff like that. Obviously we need to stay away from that, and I surely don't have to tell you not to take candy from a man in a white van. So all these things must be already commonplace to you, especially if you're already a university student looking for a pathway after university. Surely this won't help you in anything. I'm just bringing it up for people who are just about to move into a new country and aren't familiar with how people look like that are supposed to be your age. Okay? Because even if you do fall into these things, it's almost insulting to the people who have invested so much time, effort, and money into you to raise you and give you the education which you had and may already still be having. if you're still in secondary school, or now in high school, or your final years of school before you enter university. It's almost insulting to them because they've invested so much into you, and you go ahead and throw it all away for what? For partying and staying up late and talking to who and all that kind of stuff is not gonna do you good. So yeah, flip the page. I'm sorry, I hope this doesn't take too long. I can't see how long this video has been going for because the camera I'm filming with the back camera, not the front camera, so I can't see myself or how long this video is taking. Sorry about that. But yeah, so one or two last things before we leave, maybe even three things, is that yes, half of the game indeed is getting to the place where you're gonna want to study the environment, reaching that environment. That is half of the struggle, that is half of the game. But maybe the other half of the game, or half of the struggle, is making sure you go to the right friends and have a good community there, and your environment isn't one that brings you down, but instead lifts you up. Okay, and we should talk about this in a later video because this is way more deserving of a video than just 2 minutes or 1 minute of me just saying a phrase, or you know, that's not doing it justice, obviously. And one more thing, people who give the excuse about, oh, well, everyone's doing this certain thing, I should just do it with them. You know, when you're in Rome, do like the Romans do. And I say, not really, because you've been educated enough in your life as a child and as a teenager for that when you grow up and go to a new place alone, you have the responsibility of carrying the teachings which you were given to you. So you're not a person who's just learning about life now, although you're still maybe a teenager, or maybe a young adult, and you're still learning about all these new things. But you shouldn't be going out and doing these things when you know that they're not good for you, and you know that they're gonna hinder your ability to excel in whatever you're doing in life, whether it's medicine, whether it's engineering, whether it's law or business. All these things take time and effort from you, as well as effort from your parents to reach you, to take you to these places. So one last thing we're going to say is that you can't control everything in your environment, but you can control your response to that environment, and you can control how you behave in that environment, whether it's staying up late or deciding to sleep early and wake up early, whether it's hanging out with these bad people or finding good students who also want to be diligent and share their success with you, or maybe even compete with you for that success. But competition where it's healthy and not sort of envious, whether it's backbiting or maybe like wishing you not well because they want to be better than you. So yeah, we have the freedom in how we want to respond to these things, and it is in your hands, in your power to be well when you go to the new country which you want to go to, whether it's Germany, Switzerland, Europe, USA, Canada, whatever it is. Yeah. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I hope the best for you. I wish you well. I hope for the safety and I pray for the safety and well-being of all our brothers in different countries right now. I know it's a little bit difficult to talk about stuff like this when we're so stressed, maybe all of us. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please leave me comments or support or likes or whatever. So I'm not gonna beg for likes yet. We're not that big, but anything that you want to say, maybe whether it's privately on my other social media or maybe here in the comments of this video, I'd appreciate it a lot if you left a good word. Maybe you have something nice to say, and yeah, maybe criticism if it's positive, that's also allowed, but I'd wish it be privately and not like in front of everyone, just so I don't get embarrassed. But yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye. Tschüss. Oh my god. Tschüss.